my name is Meg B. I am an intern for the Green Initiative. This is part 2 to the 360-degree video editing. So in this one, we're actually going to start editing the video. So let's just go to Verb Edit, and we're going to go up to Create Video. I'm just going to name it Example. Okay, so this is where all the videos that I have downloaded come up. So I can just click and drag any of them down here. And I'm going to bring 2 down so I can show, or a couple down, so I can show you different editing. So over here is where you can view the actual video, and you can drag it around to see the 360 view. And you can see that it's been downgraded, so the pixelation is not as good. This makes it easier to work with when we're editing. Okay, so over here is a zoom. So this basically just means down here we can either zoom in or out, so I can have more control over the exact second where my cursor is, or I can see my whole video. So we can go over to editing, and the first thing that I usually do is I go into audio, and then I turn down the audio, and then I say apply to all. This is because later on I'm going to add a voiceover, and I don't want the background noise of the actual video to get in the way of my voiceover. And so I just want to check now that the audio has been muted for all my clips, and it has. So for my actual video, this is where I can split it, and you can actually even make it faster or slower. So the next thing that I go down, transitions, I don't usually use this. This is for when you're doing a 360-degree photo slideshow, then you can do, these are the transitions for the pictures. And then soundtrack. This is where I put in my voiceover. So they have all these nice songs, none of which I think are very good. I have listened to them. So what I do is I go down into Browse. And so over here, these are all my voiceovers that I have made. So I'm going to show you now how I made those voiceovers. So I go onto my phone and I go into my voice memos. Pretty simple, I just record what I want, and like I said in the first video, I only record about 30 seconds of a voiceover at a time. That makes it so that if one of my voiceovers there's like an incorrect fact that I have to redo or just something, I can just redo that one voiceover rather than refilming my entire voiceover. So I record it, and then I go and I just press the export button on it, and then I press export to Drive. And then when I put it on Drive, then I can download it, and then I can go straight onto my computer. So I go over to here, and now I'm in my Drive, and all the voiceovers, when you put them into Drive, they end with an M4A. So if I just like search M4A, then it comes up with all my voiceovers. So then I just right click it, and then I just press download, and that is how it ends up over here. That's where it gets over here. So then I can just click, and I can put one in. And so see, this one is about 55 seconds, and then this clip up here is exactly a minute long. So let's say I just want this clip to go with this one, and I don't want any extra time at the end of the clip. So I just put my cursor right here, then I go up to editing, and then I just split it, and then I delete this one. The reason why it's so important to me to do this is because now when I go back in and I do another voiceover, it is going to start right where the last one ended. So if I want one voiceover to go with one clip, and my clip goes longer than my voiceover does, or vice versa, then it's not going to line up properly. And so then I would just go in here, and you get the idea. I would just split it here, and then I would delete the second part. So that's kind of how I work on my voiceovers. And then the next thing that I do, and I always do this one last, is I do my titles. This thing is so cool. I use this for if I'm going to point something out in my voiceover. what I can do now is I can put words on the screen to point out so people know exactly where it is. So I can just say like this is a waste bin. So I can just title it. And I always use Calibri because it is the most professional one that there is. And then I just go black for the font. And I usually do 120 because I think it's a good size so you can read it, but it's also not so big that it takes up the entire screen. So right here, now we know if I were to say in my voiceover, if you look to your left, you can see the waste bin, and then the person can go look to their left and they will see the words. They know exactly where they're supposed to be looking. So over here, this is the start time. So this is if I want this, when I want this to show up. So if I say at minute 120 seconds, or 1 minute and 20 seconds, that's when I say this is look to your left to see the waste bin, then I would want to start this at just like a little bit before that so it's already there. And then this is the duration, this is how long it'll stay up. So I usually, it just depends on how long you want it to be. So that makes maybe 10 seconds. And then it'll just stay up there for 10 seconds, and I think that's super cool. So I usually do a bunch of titles, and I'll have my intro, like, welcome to, in this case, Harvest Power, and then at the end I'll say thank you for joining us. And then mostly just captions for where things are. So that's pretty much all the editing. So now we're going to go over and we're going to say export. And when you first go on, it's going to come up with this verb intro because they want to brand your video because you use their video. I usually just go in and I say none. That way it doesn't show up anymore. And then the resolution and the 360, it all automatically comes up with the highest one. And so pick export location. This is just where it's going to end up on your computer. So I usually say go green because that's what I am making these videos for. So it's easy for me to find. But you can browse and you can go in and you can say where you want it to end up. And then I just press export. So this is just because I already have a video. And now it's just going to export it. So the last step after exporting it is to go over to YouTube. So I go into YouTube and then I just say create a video. And now I'll just go into my folders. And so I can go down to videos, go green, and I can just choose whichever video. So it's usually my Harvest Power video right here because this is the last one that I did. So I just take this and I drag it over. So now I'll just upload it, and that's how you get your 360 video onto YouTube. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video by Go Green. Have a good day.